to the Future Me podcast. Today's podcast is about understanding financial aid packages and award letters. My name is Nina Stem. I work in career and college readiness for Vancouver Public Schools. I'm joined today by Chippy Bello, Associate Dean of Financial Aid at Clark College, and Kim McDougall, Financial Aid Outreach Coordinator at Washington State University, Vancouver campus. Thank you both for being here today. I just have a few questions that I think will cover some really important information for families. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we'll see what kind of information we can get out to families today. Could you please explain a couple of common acronyms around financial aid, such as Fafsa, Waspa, EFC, SAR, etc.?
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. So EFC, so I'll start with that. So EFC stands for Expected Family Contribution. So this is the amount that a student and his and her family are expected to contribute towards the student's cost of attendance as calculated by the Department of Education. So this number is calculated after a student complete and submitted the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA, F-A-F-S-A, so another acronym for you to know. Then after a student submitted the FAFSA, so they'll get what's called a student aid report, or SAR. So usually after you submit your FAFSA, it takes about 2 to 5 days to process your aid if you filled out correctly, and then you will be sent what's called the SAR, so student aid report. So yeah, other acronyms that's important for you to know, or terminologies for students and parents to know, is cost of attendance, or COA, so cost of attendance, or budget. So again, this is an estimated educational cost for one academic year to attend the college of your choice. So also it's important for you to understand what an academic year is, or award year. So this is a period of time that school used to measure the quantity of your study. So, and this is what financial aid will also use to award you financial aid. So, and then know what an award notification is, or award letter, or an award offer. So all these terminologies kind of is the same thing. So this is an official letter from the school financial aid office listing all the financial aid awarded to a student. So yeah, SAP, I would say SAP is another terminology for students and parents to understand. And SAP, S-A-P, stands for Satisfactory Academic Progress. Is a policy that a student must maintain progress towards a degree to remain eligible for financial aid. So those are the terminologies and acronyms that I think is important for students to understand.
I think we might have one other, Chippy, that I just thought of. And again, thank you, Nina, for having us. WASPA, the Washington Application for State Financial Aid, are students who cannot file a federal form, but are residents of Washington. We highly encourage you to file a WASPA because you are eligible. You could be eligible for some generous funding through that application as well.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that up, Kim. That's another applications. That's a foundation for all the different types of financial aid. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And that is one of the great things about Washington State, is that we do have the WASPA available for those students who are unable to file the FAFSA and are still able to get financial aid to go to post-secondary education. What is the difference between the result of your FAFSA or WASPA and the financial aid package that you actually receive from a school?
Well, that's a great question, and it can be a little confusing. Remember that you're starting the entire process with that FAFSA or WASPA. Those are your applications that gather all the data about your family. So you're going to include income information, asset information, how many in college, how large of a family that you have. All this information is gathered by the FAFSA or the WASPA. It's then sent to the school where each school can calculate using those numbers, using that EFC that Chippy explained, that expected family contribution. It's all part of the calculation to determine your level of need. So now the school has the information. We plug in our cost of attendance, which again, it's going to vary from school to school. And then we subtract what is expected of the family to come up with your level of need. Then you're awarded. So that's kind of the 1, 2, 3 of it. Then you're going to receive these estimates based on the information in the Fafsa and the Waspa as to what you might be eligible, be it grant funding, institutional funding, or loans. Anything to add to that, Chippy?
No, I think that's perfect. So I think what's important for us to emphasize is the fact that the FAFSA and the WASPA application is the foundation for your financial aid package. So that's great. Thanks, Kim.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. And so what I heard you say, Kim, is that each school, you could get a completely different financial aid offer from each school that you attend. Your financial aid offer is going to be different depending on the school.
That's correct. And it's really dependent on the school's cost of attendance. Again, this is going to vary from school to school because mainly the big difference being tuition. These are direct costs paid to the school, right? Your tuition and fees. The other costs, which we refer to as indirect costs, such as your books and all those other, room, board, transportation, just other living expenses. Those are estimates that the school comes up with. So again, we get back to that as Chippy referred to it, it's a perfect term of budget. The school will use its budget, in plugging in your information and then deciding what they are able to award you.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with Kim that financial aid offering will differ from school to school. And then it would differ from school to school because financial aid package is created for you, right? It's created for the student based on the student's eligibility. And as Kim mentioned, the cost of attendance at a particular college. There are other factors such as the availabilities of fund at each school. Financial aid, there are different types of financial aid, and the sources of those funds can come from federal, from state, from your institutions, or private. So all these variables will create a different financial aid offering for each student at each school. So.
Great, thank you. So yes, it sounds like there are lots of bits and pieces that have to come together to make your final financial aid offer from a school. What about scholarships? Are those automatically included in a student's financial aid offer from a school?
Well, that's an interesting question, and that's also going to vary. Typically, scholarship season is September through March. And I will mention here that it's really important to, as you are applying for scholarships, to pay attention to the deadlines. They're going to be different for each and every scholarship that you apply to. Many times when a school produces a financial aid award estimate or a financial aid award letter, they do not include the scholarships because they're still being added to the student's award. I would say that when it comes to scholarships, be sure to understand that if you don't see a scholarship on your financial aid award, that you stay in contact with the donor and you stay in contact with the school to be sure that it's added. And just, be reassured that as a school receives a scholarship notification for you, we will add it to your financial aid award letter.
Yeah, what I would add in regards to scholarship is, on one, the secret to getting scholarship is to apply. So a lot of time we don't think we would qualify for a scholarship. you would be surprised. So there are lots of scholarship opportunities out there. So apply. My other recommendation is to create an Excel spreadsheets, right? So how you track scholarships is create an Excel spreadsheets, list the different scholarships that you want to apply for, and list the deadlines. So put the scholarship on top that has the most recent deadlines and work that Excel spreadsheets. And sometimes what happens is that what you submit for one scholarship, you can actually use that same information for other scholarship opportunities as well too. But the secret to getting scholarship is to apply. And yes, as Kim stated, pay attention to scholarship deadlines. Each institutions, each scholarships has their own scholarship deadlines.
Great, thank you. Do students have to accept all the financial aid offered to them?
No, not at all. So I would say the two types of financial aid that students have an option to accept or decline are work study and loan. So, and my recommendations is that if you don't need to take out loans, don't take out loans. So look for other opportunities to fund your education. So those are the two common types of financial aid that's again students can accept or decline.
I absolutely agree with you on that topic of loans, Chippy, because many times students just assume that because it's offered to you that you need to accept what's there. But back to the original, premise of know what your true costs are. If you are just covering tuition and books, you're living at home, you may not need to touch your loans. And all of us are here to point you to any free resource that we can possibly do, be it, grant funding if you're eligible, institutional funding, or like Chippy stress scholarships. We want you to get that good funding.
Great, thank you. And that's a really excellent point to make, in that a student's financial aid award from a school is based on the total cost of attendance. It's not necessarily based on that student's individual situation. So as you mentioned, Kim, just really taking a close look at those funds being offered to you and decide, well, do I actually need that money for housing because I'm going to live at home, or I'm sharing a house with 4 other people, and so it's not actually going to cost me as much as they think it's going to cost me. So it definitely depends on a student's individual situation.
One other thing I might throw in too is that many students, especially in the state of Washington, receiving that very generous Washington College grant, we're finding that more and more students in the low income range are receiving more than they need. Now, don't be alarmed by this, because if you're in that category of students that is receiving additional funding beyond the cost of your tuition, your books, you're going to receive a refund. And this may be the first time many of you have received a refund like this, or, maybe you haven't worked, you haven't received a paycheck. This is money for you to apply to whatever costs you have, be it a laptop, be it your transportation. Possibly you want to put it in the bank and save it to do study abroad. So just keep in mind that if you are receiving more than you need, this is money for you to apply to other costs.
Good point, Kimberly.
Yes, excellent point. Thank you. What are some of the most important things to consider when reviewing your financial aid report and deciding on what to accept? I think we've touched on that a little bit already, but do either of you have anything to add?
I think it's just, once again, we just can't reiterate it enough to really look first, what do I need to cover? What are my actual costs? And how far is my financial aid covering that? What pieces of that funding puzzle do I need to tap into? Do I have grant funding? Do I have scholarship funding? I think the biggest thing that I emphasize constantly in my position is just please understand what your costs are, understand what your resources are.
Yeah, I would agree. So definitely review your your financial aid offering carefully and then review the cost of attendance at your college, making sure that you have enough aid offering to cover your cost of attendance. So yeah, so.
Great, thank you. Who should parents and students contact if they have no idea what they're looking at when they're looking at their financial aid reports or information from the financial aid department of the school?
Yeah, so definitely, and then have them contact the financial aid office at the school that produced the award letter. So have them contact the financial aid office. And then if they have just common questions about financial aid, how to apply, when to apply, and they can they can contact any colleges, they can contact their high school. So I think most institutions in high school are willing to help students answer the basic questions. So, but again, if it's in regards to their award offering, then to contact the financial aid office directly at the school that's offering their award letter.
Great, thank you, Chippy. And then I would just like to add, at the high school level, students and families can always contact your career specialist, your school counselor. Avid teachers or Gear Up staff are all very well trained in financial aid and can, if they can't answer your questions, they can connect you with folks like Chippy or Kim who will be able to answer your questions. Do either of you have any additional resources for families or other information that we've missed today?
I would like to invite all families and students to attend WSU Vancouver's presentation. It's a workshop called A to Z, Paying for College. We offer this every 2 weeks via Zoom now. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, different times of the day, 10, 2, and 5. Pop your popcorn and sit down and enjoy it. I joke with families that you will have a PhD in financial aid by the time we finish with the hour-long workshop. But honestly, this is a very comprehensive presentation, regardless of where you're going to attend. Okay, so WSU Vancouver offers this as a community service. This is information that will be valuable whether you're going to Clark, you're going to WSU, or you're going to a trade school. It's solid information from the application process all the way through scholarships and the funding process, the awarding process. The other thing I would like to mention is that each school has events like this. I mean, another one of our events is Scholarship 101 that we offer every year. So just stay up with the school that you're looking at attending as far as what type of events do they have coming up? What are they offering that can help you feel more confident going forward in applying for financial aid and how it works once you get to the college of your choice?
Yeah, speaking of workshop, I just remember that Clark College Financial Aid Office is actually offering a financial aid information night this coming Monday, May 24th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we are actually offering one of our financial information night is this coming Monday and is going to be via Zoom. And so if you are interested in attending the financial information night that's coming up on Monday, feel free to contact me and then cbello@clark.edu. Another advice I would add is that find ways to save cost. So find ways to save costs, educational costs, live at home. And if you don't want to live at home, if you want to move out, find roommates and then look into, working. So, and again, we highly recommend not taking out loans if you don't need to. So work your way through college if you can and create a budget for yourself. So create a budget for yourself. And also I would say again, I'm going to emphasize that the secret to getting financial aid is to apply. So complete the Fafsa application, complete the Waspa application, and look into scholarship opportunities. So very important. And there are so many people here to help you. And I just want to add that the state of Washington actually has one of the best financial aid program in the country. So and then the Washington College Grant the Washington College Grant. If you qualify, you can actually pay for your tuitions and fee at any colleges. So again, the state of Washington has one of the best scholarship program. And then during this time of unique time of COVID-19, the Department of Education has provided institutions with additional fundings, so additional money. So there are additional money beyond the traditional financial aid. And then I highly recommend applying.
Great. Thank you so much for all of that information. Just really great information for families to follow up on. And I appreciate how both of you pointed out that you and your institutions are community resources for families, not just for the students who are attending your schools. We really appreciate that in Vancouver Public Schools. And it's really fantastic to know that families can reach out to you and ask questions, even if their students are not planning on attending one of your schools. Okay, I think that is our Future Me podcast for today. Thank you both, Kim and Chippy, for joining us. And we look forward to future podcasts and educating families on information that is important to your students' success. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Nina. Those were some great questions, and we're always here to help.